Thank you for having me. Honestly, I am extremely nervous because I'm not good at public speaking, but I am good at telling a story, so let me tell you mine. I actually can't believe I'm standing here up on stage in front of all of you when it just seems like a while back I was a doe-eyed girl with big dreams, just like you. So, by a show of hands, could you tell me how many of you would like to travel the world? Me too. When I was young, I wanted to see many different countries and make lots of money. So, I thought becoming an air hostess would let me do that. So, I interviewed for the job, I got the offer, and just as they handed me my offer letter, they looked at my big forehead and said that I think you should get bangs to cover it up. This happened in front of 20 other people. So I laugh about it now, but I was so embarrassed back then. But like I always told myself, everything happens for a reason. So just before I was about to start my career as an air hostess, I went to an exhibition where people with disabilities were selling their handicrafts. And I spent about an hour with them, but that 1 hour changed my life because I felt seen, acknowledged, and loved without being judged. Can you imagine? They didn't care how big my forehead was or how thin I was. And for someone who's been teased all her life for being too thin, here I found people who accepted me without even knowing me completely. And it changed me, and in that very instant, I threw my original plans out and enrolled in a training program to become an educator for people with disabilities. I remember leaving that exhibition and sitting in Mumbai traffic trying to explain to my mother how I had not thrown my future down the drain. And life was calling, and I was ready to embrace it. That spontaneous decision and my persistence and rebellion pushed me and helped me through a journey that had just begun. And this was where my relationship with resilience first began. When I was training to be a special educator, I met my classmates Dilshad and Gitanjali, and we were teamed up for an assignment on project management. And our task was to set up a special school from scratch. We had so much fun during that assignment that at the end of it, we joked about how we would start our own special school someday. Little did we know, but a seed had been planted. It was like one of those crazy ideas that never let you go and always stay in your mind and your heart. Now, the training period was over, and we had actually got down to work. But before I dive into that chapter, could you tell me how many of you like to hang out with friends, go out to restaurants, movies, vacations? So many of you, right? So when I first started teaching, I was assigned a group of young adults. And one of the first questions that came to our minds was, why don't they have the same privileges and opportunities like we do? Why don't they go out to movies? Why don't they go to restaurants and hang out with friends? It's because people had limited them to their inability. Why have fun when you have a disability, right? Fortunately, not for us. So we had began planning their first trip to Goa by train. From convincing their parents to making travel and accommodation arrangements to scheduling the entire trip, everything was a big challenge. But it was also one of the best things that we had done in a long time. These kids had never seen a beach before. So seeing their faces light up was worth all of the effort. It was the first step to challenging the archaic ableist notion of what people with disabilities can and cannot do. And this was my second tryst with resilience. We wanted them to experience everything that life had to offer. And the more time I spent with them, the more I realized that I was so excited about my future, but they had no hopes for theirs. Working very closely with people with disabilities from low income backgrounds, I realized that despite all of the odds stacked against them, they had these infectious personalities and such an inspiring and positive outlook on life. It was like resilience was their middle name. The conviction that they deserved everything that life had to offer, work, earn a living, have a family, a social life, sparked an idea. And 13 years ago, my classmates turned co-founders, Dilshad, Gitanjali and myself, started an organization for people with disabilities where they did not belong to cages and they were only meant to fly. We began training a group of 25 adults in the first year and in basic independent living skills, exploring different hobbies, and gradually that count grew to 50 and 75 in the following. Our tiny little baby was growing. From teaching to cleaning to managing accounts and fundraising, the three of us did everything. When 4 of our students started to imitate us without even being asked, they imitated us and helped us teach the other students. And they were really good at it. So we thought, why not make them our first employees? And we hired them as teacher assistants. It was their first job, their first paycheck. And that transformed them. It changed them completely. Their parents cried with happiness because they now began to value and accept their children. Over the months, we began to see so many little changes in them. Like they would walk in every morning with their headphones and sunglasses and proudly tell us how they purchased that with their own money. They would travel independently, dress in formal clothes. They had jobs. They were responsible young adults and they wanted to look the part. It was beautiful. Our resilient group of young adults was ready to live life to the fullest. Earlier, our mission was just to get them to experience life as we did. But seeing this transformation, it pushed us to evolving that mission into our larger goal of successfully integrating them into the workplaces, into the families, and into society. But of course, that did not come without its ups and downs. But resilience pushed us and prepared us for whatever was to come. So let me tell you a little bit about our journey through the story of Jabir. Jabir is the first of 4 siblings. He has 3 younger sisters, and his parents were thrilled when they found out they had a boy. But that happiness was short-lived as soon as they found out that Jabir had Down syndrome. His mother sold idlis on the street and his father was a driver, and they thought that Jabir was incapable of anything. So they had lost all hope. When Jabir came to, we exposed him to the various possibilities for his career with a training plan that included life skills like communication, time and money management, and grooming, and work skills related to that of the hospitality industry. Jabir was preparing for his career. And today, Jabir is the sole earning member of his family. His mother does not have to sell idlis anymore, and his father does not have to drive cars. If you ask me what resilience is, it is stories like that of Jabir that come to mind. People are considered to be resilient when they have strong coping skills, when they manage within the resources that they have, and they ask for help when needed. No challenge is too big or too small. Everything can be overcome. And you are all at such an exciting phase of life with new challenges, new experiences, and new opportunities ahead of you. And just like Jabir, his parents, and myself navigated through the ups and downs of life, one will face setbacks and situations where resilience is tested. Some of us may struggle with academic pressures, the constant need to live up to grades and do well in exams. And it's easy to feel overwhelmed and lose motivation, but resilience is the ability to bounce back and keep moving forward and not letting a failed grade define you. Learn from it, work harder, and keep going. And believe in yourself. Some of us may be struggling with the complexities of relationships and friendships. Navigating the social dynamics of it all can be hard. One may face bullying or peer pressure or even heartbreak. But resilience is the ability to surround yourself with positive people and never let a negative experience break your spirit. Others may face or may ask questions about their identity or their beliefs or their place in the world. And it's natural to feel confused and uncertain. But resilience is the ability to not let societal expectations and stereotypes limit your potential. It is the ability to embrace yourself and stay true to yourself. And just like I found my calling in teaching people with disabilities, and Jabir found his in the hospitality industry, everyone will find their own dreams and passions. And of course, this may not happen overnight, and it will come with its fair share of setbacks. But remember, resilience is having the determination to keep learning, keep exploring, and keep pushing the boundaries. And resilience is not about never experiencing failure, but it is about how we respond to them and finding the strength within to pick up, dust off, and keep going, even if the road ahead seems daunting. So let us all have the courage to follow our heart and the resilience to never give up. Thank you.